Hey, what's up everyone? It's your friend Bats. My name is Jared, and this is the Amazing Spider-Man Epic Collection Spider-Man or Spider Clone by Gerry Conway, Len Wein, and Andru. And I know I said this last time on the last Spider-Man Epic Collection that I reviewed that this is my favorite era of Spider-Man. Well, this is still the same era. And I still love this era of Spider-Man. Man, mid-70s Spider-Man is peak Spider-Man. However, granted, I have only read the first 200 issues of Spider-Man and then the JMS forward to Spider-Man. And I kind of fell off around, what's that guy's name? Nick Spencer. I fell off the Nick Spencer run. But what got me into Spider-Man was the 90s cartoon, and then Ultimate Spider-Man, the movie. And when I was 17, 18 years old, a friend of mine by the name of Javier Hernandez, he's the creator of the comic book El Muerto, he was a big Spider-Man fan, and he had loaned me all the copies that he had of Amazing Spider-Man in Essential. And I think I read each Essential, which has like 20 issues in them, in like a week. I read each volume in a week, and he had like 10 of them. And so I read like the first 200 issues of Spider-Man's in like 2.5 months. And so that was over 20 years ago at this point, right? And so a lot of times when I reread these stories, sometimes they're brand new, or sometimes there's like a panel and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this panel. I remember this. And then something else in that exact issue, it seems also new. And so one of the stories that really stuck with me was the Clone Genesis in here. Where's it at? I think it's, yeah. But the stories where Spider-Man fights, it's here on the back, right? This stuff really stuck with me. And that's because I kind of fell in love with the Jackal. I loved him so much that I said his name wrong, but I can't even say the word name. Excuse me. But man, this is a beautiful cover. I love this cover. It's just, I must be seeing things. You can't, great stuff. Great stuff. Some of the stories in here are just, Andru is just the most underrated Spider-Man artist, in my opinion. He just has such great stuff in here, man. Just some really awesome shots. And this was a whole lot of fun. This was the good stuff. The Shocker story. But yeah, this is just, I can't not praise this enough. I've just been on a reading Spider-Man very regularly lately, and I don't really intend on stopping. Unfortunately, there's only 11 volumes of Epic Collections, and I'm on 10. There's more than 11, but consecutively, and I've been reading everything in order, and so I'm going to have to read Spider-Man on Marvel Unlimited, but, them the breaks. And I forgot how much I enjoyed Len Wein's take on Spider-Man. And I like that he's kind of a little bit more of a jerk now. He's a little less with Archie and a little bit more back to Stan Lee Spider-Man, where he's kind of a jerk, especially to some of his villains. and a little more jerky with J. Jonah. And I just appreciate that because I like Spider-Man being a jerk. This was a whole lot of fun, finding out that the mystery guy that was going on in the alleys running from ghosts was Doc Ock. And he comes back and has it out with a radioactive ghost of Hammerhead. Man, that's, that's stuff you could only do in comics. Like them, if they tried to do something like this in the MCU, they would just make jokes all the time. They wouldn't take it seriously at all. But they managed to convince you as a comic book reader. This was awesome. Spider-Man gets thrown out of a plane and there's nothing to grab onto, so he makes himself a hang glider because he's seen hang gliders and wanted to try one. So he made one while falling. I like Peter gets this new apartment where he's got nothing in it. And yeah, just a whole lot of fun. Love this stuff. This era of Spider-Man is just peak. Yeah. Human Fly, awesome. This was ridiculous. I don't know if they just watched Christine and they were like, we should do a Spider-Man issue of this. But yeah, whole lot of fun. This absurd. The car shoots webs and goes across buildings. Awesome. This was a whole... I loved this issue. I'm not an X-Men reader, but this made me want to buy X-Men, which that was the point, right? And then, yeah, we get some Kingpin issues here in the back after the Nightcrawler Punisher one. Oh, yeah, and they furnish. It's funny, like, Peter gets a surprise where all his friends basically leave crap in his house to furnish his house. And he's like, the chair's, like, old and he can't get out of it. So, yeah, Ross Andru just rocks, man. Look at this page. Look at this panel, dude. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. This is going on a little bit long. So, yeah, I can't praise 70s Spider-Man enough. So, go buy this if you don't have it or haven't read it. Or rent it from your library, wherever. And if you like my content, give me a like. Give me a subscribe. I'm making daily content. And I've been working pretty hard to be consistent. I've never really been consistent until recently, so I'd really appreciate it if you guys subscribe. So thanks for watching. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.